Imagine a world before dinosaurs, a time when the Earth was a very different place, devoid of the colossal creatures that would later roam its surface. Picture a planet in its infancy where the landscape was shaped by volcanic activity and the atmosphere was a mix of gases that would be toxic to us today. This was a world in the making, a canvas of raw potential and untamed energy. A world without the thunder of giant footsteps. Instead, the Earth was a quiet, almost eerie place with only the sounds of wind and water shaping its surface. The land was barren, with no signs of the lush vegetation that would later dominate. It was a time of solitude and silence where the only inhabitants were microscopic organisms, the pioneers of life. This was Earth's early history, a time of incredible change and evolution. The planet was undergoing constant transformation, with continents drifting and colliding, mountains rising and eroding, and oceans forming and disappearing. These geological processes set the stage for the development of life, creating diverse environments where life could begin to take hold and evolve. It's a story told in rocks, fossils, and the very air we breathe. Each layer of rock, each fossil, is a chapter in the Earth's history, providing clues about the conditions and life forms of the past. These ancient records help us understand how life on Earth has evolved over billions of years, from simple, single-celled organisms to the complex ecosystems we see today. We begin our journey in the Precambrian era, billions of years ago. This era, which spans from the formation of the Earth about 4.6 billion years ago to around 541 million years ago, is the longest in Earth's history. It was during this time that the first forms of life appeared, tiny microorganisms that thrived in the harsh conditions of early Earth. This era spans the vast majority of Earth's existence. The Precambrian is divided into three eons: the Hadean, the Archean, and the Proterozoic. Each of these eons saw significant changes in the Earth's geology and atmosphere, setting the stage for the explosion of life that would come in the following eras. Following the Precambrian, we explore the Paleozoic era. This era, which lasted from about 541 to 252 million years ago, was a time of dramatic change and diversification of life. It saw the emergence of the first complex life forms, including plants, fish, and insects, as well as the first vertebrates to walk on land. This era marks a critical turning point, the rise of complex life. The Paleozoic era laid the foundation for the rich diversity of life that we see today. It was a time of innovation and adaptation as life forms evolved new ways to survive and thrive in a changing world. From the depths of the oceans to the surface of the land, life was beginning to leave its mark on the planet. The Precambrian era was a time of intense heat and volcanic activity. The young Earth was a cauldron of molten rock, constantly bombarded by asteroids. Slowly, over millions of years, the Earth cooled. Water vapor condensed to form the first oceans. The atmosphere was very different from today, lacking oxygen, yet within this alien environment, life emerged. The first life forms were simple, single-celled organisms called prokaryotes. These microbes thrived in the harsh conditions of early Earth. They lived in the oceans, feeding on chemicals released from volcanic vents. Over time, a new type of cell evolved, the eukaryote. Eukaryotic cells were larger and more complex. They had a nucleus which contained their DNA. This was a major evolutionary leap. The Paleozoic era began with the Cambrian period. This period witnessed an astonishing burst of evolution known as the Cambrian explosion. Life diversified rapidly. Creatures with shells and skeletons appeared. The oceans teemed with strange and wonderful life forms. Trilobites, with their segmented bodies and hard exoskeletons, became abundant. The Cambrian explosion laid the foundation for all future animal life on Earth. Section 5. Ordovician: life takes to the water. The Ordovician period saw a continuation of the diversification that began in the Cambrian. Marine life flourished. Jawless fish, the earliest vertebrates, evolved. These fish had no jaws, but they possessed a backbone, a defining feature of vertebrates. Other creatures, such as corals and cephalopods, also thrived. The Ordovician ended with a mass extinction, but life persevered. Section 6. Silurian: a walk on land. During the Silurian period, life made a crucial transition from water to land. Plants were the pioneers. Simple plants like mosses and liverworts began to colonize the land. Close behind them came the arthropods. These were the ancestors of insects, spiders, and crustaceans. The Silurian marked a pivotal step in the evolution of terrestrial ecosystems. Section 7, Devonian, the Age of Fishes. The Devonian period is often called the Age of Fishes. Fish diversified into a dazzling array of forms. Some, like Dunkleosteus, were fearsome predators with bony plates for armor. Other fish evolved lungs, allowing them to breathe air. These were the ancestors of amphibians. The first amphibians, like Tiktaalik, had limbs that allowed them to move onto land. This was a momentous event in the history of life. To Section 8, the Carboniferous, from swamps to coal. The Carboniferous period was a time of vast, swampy forests. These forests were unlike anything we see today, teeming with life and stretching across what would become modern-day continents. The landscape was dominated by dense vegetation with towering trees and thick underbrush, creating a lush green world. Giant ferns, club mosses, and other primitive plants thrived in this humid environment. These plants were the primary producers, converting sunlight into energy and forming the base of the food chain. Their remains would eventually become the coal deposits we rely on today. Horsetails, another dominant plant group, grew in abundance. These plants, with their segmented stems and brush-like leaves, were well adapted to the swampy conditions. They played a crucial role in the ecosystem, providing habitat and food for various creatures. The air was thick with oxygen, allowing insects to grow to enormous sizes. This high oxygen content was a result of the prolific plant life, which released vast amounts of oxygen through photosynthesis. The atmosphere was so rich in oxygen that it supported the growth of some of the largest insects ever to exist. Dragonflies with wingspans of over 2 feet soared through the air. These giant insects were apex predators in their environment, hunting smaller insects and even small vertebrates. Their size and agility made them formidable hunters. Amphibians diversified and thrived in the warm, humid environment. These early vertebrates were well suited to the swampy conditions, with their moist skin allowing them to absorb oxygen directly from the water. They occupied a variety of ecological niches, from small insectivores to larger predators. The Carboniferous is also when the first reptiles evolved from amphibian ancestors. These early reptiles marked a significant evolutionary step as they developed adaptations that allowed them to live further away from water. Their tough, scaly skin helped prevent water loss, and their amniotic eggs could be laid on land, providing a safe environment for their developing young. These reptiles had scaly skin and laid eggs, adaptations that allowed them to live further away from water. This evolutionary leap enabled them to colonize new habitats and diversify into a wide range of species, setting the stage for the dominance of reptiles in the Mesozoic era. Section 9, Permian, the Great Dying and a New Beginning. The Permian period, which lasted from approximately 298 to 252 million years ago, saw the rise of reptiles. These early reptiles were among the first vertebrates to fully adapt to life on land, developing features that allowed them to thrive in a variety of environments. They became increasingly diverse and successful, evolving into a wide range of forms. Some were small and agile, while others grew to impressive sizes, dominating the terrestrial ecosystems of their time. However, the Permian ended with the largest mass extinction event in Earth's history. This catastrophic event, often referred to as the Great Dying, wiped out a staggering number of species. Volcanic eruptions, climate change, and other factors combined to create a perfect storm of extinction. Massive volcanic eruptions in what is now Siberia released vast amounts of lava and gases, leading to severe environmental changes. Over 90% of marine species vanished. The oceans, once teeming with life, became nearly barren, as the changing conditions proved too harsh for most marine organisms to survive. And 70% of terrestrial species vanished. On land, ecosystems collapsed as many plants and animals could not adapt to the rapid and extreme changes in climate and habitat. The Permian extinction marked the end of the Paleozoic era, a time characterized by the development of early life forms and the establishment of complex ecosystems. It also set the stage for a new era, the Mesozoic era, and the rise of the dinosaurs. This new era would see the emergence of some of the most iconic creatures in Earth's history as life began to recover and evolve once more.